Hey guys. So this has absolutely nothing to do with paganism, nothing to do with the craft. So if you don't feel like watching it, that's fine. It's a completely personal vlog. Um, now, those of you who know me personally know that I have studied music. I went to college to study it. And now, at the time, I didn't know that the program in which I was enrolled did not have a, it was not accredited. Um, they didn't have, they weren't allowed to offer a degree in the program of music. The only thing you could get from that program was a certificate of completion. Um, your credits really didn't transfer. No school would accept them. In fact, Um, not only was it well known among the students there that the letter grade of a C in that program would automatically equate to an A at any other university in the state, but I have long had my suspicions that besides my voice teacher, who actually had his master's degree in the subject, and he was absolutely brilliant, um, very few of the staff or the faculty in that program actually had their degree in music education. Now, nowhere during this time in which I studied music did was the program. Well, the program itself was completely flawed from the very beginning. It seemed as though it was designed for a high rate of failure. It was extremely rare that I encountered anyone who stuck around for a second year. Most people dropped out. In fact, I had a very high dropout rate because of the level of difficulty that was expected of them. One very famous assignment that we were given that just drove people mad was in the Music Theory 1 class. We were required to, and our class met every other day, but we were required to memorize a song and be able to play it back from memory in whatever new key the teacher called out that day. And it did not occur to me then because I had nothing to compare it to until I later asked um, of people that had actually graduated from music programs, and they were shocked because that's really a music theory level 3 assignment, and they were requiring it of music theory level 1 students who, I might add, had only marginal keyboard skills at best. From the beginning, I have tried to learn what I can on my own, but ultimately, I really want to go back to school to um, earn my own degree in music education so that I can not only do right by my voice teacher, who was just this huge inspiration to me, but also so that I can, in a way, protect other students from having the really bad experience learning music that I did. I mean, in the program that I was enrolled in, there were no textbooks. You weren't allowed to, well, if you missed a day, you were just totally SOL on any assignment or what had been discussed badly. Um, we were even actually given wrong information a few times by our teacher. For years, I had thought that a suspended chord was one in which the third of the chord was held over, you know. No, no, that is not what a suspended chord is at all. But yet that's what we were told. That's what we did. But if you missed a day, you were just totally SOL. You weren't allowed to contact the instructor to see what had been covered, and there were no textbook, nothing that you could rely upon to sort of keep track and to really learn from better. Because I had just come from high school where we did use textbooks, so it was a really um, it was a, it was a bit of a shock not having something to fall back on in that sense. Um, but as I've recently been looking into music programs, it's become apparent that there was quite a lot program wise that we should have received, but we didn't. As a whole, for example, um, the music fundamentals class was anything but. It was sort of a hodgepodge of some fairly advanced music techniques and methods. There was no group piano class in which you really put into practice what you were learning in theory. There was no musicianship classes of any kind, and those sorts of classes outside of your music theory classes really form the core of a solid foundation in a music education program. But there is absolutely nothing to speak of in that regard. But in looking for a new place to study music, I would really like to start again at a junior college so that I could prepare to audition for a bachelor's program. The program that I was enrolled in really wasn't geared towards that at all. Most assignments weren't graded with a letter grade, they were graded either pass or fail. A subject for the lecture was given, and there was really no reason why it was given. It was just sort of there, sort of hanging in the air, and we weren't really able to grasp what was being told to us or what its importance was. Oftentimes, though, I absolutely recall that students would lock themselves into a rehearsal room after school, and they would basically spend most of the night there, even well past midnight, at the school, locked in the rehearsal room, and they would drag themselves home to get a few hours of sleep at night, only to repeat that process every single day, just until burnout was inevitable. I really don't want to make those same mistakes my second time around. Now, what I have found is that, well, I found three things in looking for a new music program to enroll in, because they seem to boil down to just three basic things. Um, when looking for a music program at a junior college in a state that I would like to go to maybe even live or set down some roots, the state either has no programs of any kind, um, at least nowhere that I would like to live, or if they do, they're like way out in the boonies, completely isolated and somewhere out in the sticks. Or if they do have a music program, it's either extremely sketchy and you really don't feel that you would be getting your money's worth in terms of an education, or it is an extremely competitive environment with all of these different obstacles in your way of even getting accepted. I have seen some programs that have an audition requirement at a community college that they won't even accept you without a formal audition. Some of them even have basically they will put on their website not to bother even applying unless you can, unless you're prepared to experience a very Juilliard level environment of study. And I'm like, are you kidding me? At a junior college, at a community college? But that's really what I encountered most in the New England area. I of course am in Iowa, and the colleges that have music programs that actually offer an associate's degree, which is what I'm looking for, because there are plenty of colleges that have music programs that don't offer a degree. Um, but you really slice your numbers in half when you look for a community college that does offer a degree. And it seems as though colleges in the northern part of the US tend to be much more competitive and much more difficult to get into, with a whole variety of hurdles that you don't find in colleges in the southern half of the US. Now, if I particularly enjoyed the heat of the southern US, I would totally be down for going down south. Unfortunately, I have medical issues and I really cannot tolerate the heat in the southern US. So I'm still looking for a school that will accommodate me in the northern US, with the degree that I want, and be a program that I feel comfortable with. I looked into a community college in a town where a friend of mine lives in Northern California, in Santa Rosa. And I was shocked because after I discovered what I'm about to tell you, I began looking through several community colleges throughout the entire state of California, and the exact same phenomena was true for the entire state. And that is, they absolutely refused to allow any students to take a private vocal or piano lesson with one of their esteemed teachers unless they had privately auditioned in front of the vocal or piano faculty beforehand to prove to them that they were already at a sophomoric college level in terms of musicianship, in terms of your capability in voice or in piano. And I'm like, are you kidding me? At a junior college that's supposed to prepare you for auditions for entering a bachelor program? That seems a little excessive to me. But I also noticed that almost all the faculty teaching at these Californian junior colleges and community colleges, almost all of them were had a PhD in the subjects that they were teaching, which is fairly impressive. But also, I think it sets a rather high bar for a program that's supposed to be a stepping stone for a university environment. Uh, but that's really my little rant tonight. I hope no one minded. And if you could maybe help me find a music program that would suit me, please do. I mean, I looked through the state of Ohio where I have friends, and I found absolutely nothing out there. In fact, more often than not, I found schools with such poor ratings by the students that attended them that the students were saying, "Watch out! This community college is basically a scam." Put up your red flags. Don't even bother to apply. Which really worried me because I have been hearing over the years that quite a few community level colleges are now basically for profit. They're just total scams. They aren't worth the money you pay for them. So that really worries me because I really don't want a repeat of what I already went through. Yet, on the other hand, I want my money's worth, but I want an environment where I feel as though I will succeed as a student.